In Sri Lanka, campaigning for the general elections ended on Monday midnight as the island nation moved into a silent period. Polling for the general election will be held on Thursday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. at over 13,400 polling stations where the 17 million electorate will exercise their right to franchise. Over 8,800 candidates are in the fray to be elected through 196 seats from 22 electoral districts and 29 national list seats. The Election Commission has said that over 75,000 police personnel have been deployed for the election process across the island. The elections are expected to set the tone for the country's political future under the leadership of President Dissanayake. Sri Lanka had elected NPP candidate Anura Kumara Dissanayake as the president in September this year, who days after assuming office dissolved the parliament, making way for snap elections.
As citizens of this country and as a businessman involved in the leisure sector, we expect a stable government which can bring up this economy. Tourism plays a very vital role in Sri Lankan economy. Therefore, peaceful environment that is conducive to carry out any business is what we anticipate from the election.
In my opinion, I think Jatika Janabalawege or the National People's Power stands out as the best option. Being a corruption-free movement that advocates integrity, accountability and transparency.
And now let's take you live to Colombo, where India's Dr. Ahmed Moin Faruqi is with us. Hello, Dr. Faruqi. What are the key issues in Sri Lanka's general elections?
Good afternoon, Tanvi, and a very good afternoon to all our viewers across the world. You see, primarily speaking, Sri Lanka follows a system of executive presidency, wherein the president is all-powerful. We had the presidential elections in Sri Lanka in September, and now going into the parliamentary elections, there will be a close fight among all over 8,800 candidates to enter into the 225-member parliament. If you're talking about the key issues, you see, Sri Lanka has been grappling with economic issues right from the time that we had seen that in 2022, at the height of the economic crisis, there was a very situation in which there was short supply of various essentials, and that was the time when India had come forward with a huge humanitarian assistance. However, we had seen even during the presidential election campaigns, people had been talking about the hardship that they have been facing, and this is where NPP had come forward promising several strategic reforms, a complete radical change in the way the government is going ahead, and government will take forward various reforms. Now, this is something which is one of the most important topics that has been in discussion in the presidential elections as well as during the parliamentary elections. However, on the other hand, if we have to look at the opposition parties, they have been saying that it's not as easy as it is being assumed by some of the members from the NPP, and they have been talking about a possibility of an alternative kind of a reform which the opposition parties coming together they have been proposing. In fact, the former president Ranil Wickremesinghe's the symbol of gas cylinder, all those politicians who have been fighting the election under that symbol, they have been talking that the former president Ranil Wickremesinghe had put in place certain steps because of which Sri Lanka could revive itself in the quickest manner possible. These were the key issues which had been in the presidential elections, and they have been the key issues even in these parliamentary elections as well. Tanvi.
And how is President Disanayake's party, the NPP, expected to fare in the elections? Also, post-elections, what is likely to be the focus of his government, especially economically and in foreign relations?
Tanvi, you see, primarily speaking, we have to understand that the political landscape entirely has changed in Sri Lanka. The president of 2015 to 2019, Maithripala Sirisena, his party does not exist in the elections anymore. The president who was from 2019 to 2022, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, his party also does not find much ground support. As was visible in the presidential election, his party could muster only about 3% of the vote. Now, given all these kind of changing dynamics, it is being anticipated that NPP will do a much better kind of a performance as compared to what it had done in 2020's general elections, in which it had only secured 3 seats. Talking about NPP's performance itself, experts are saying that they are looking forward towards securing a majority of 113 seats in the parliament. However, people are also talking about getting 2/3 the number. While at the same time, certain critics are saying that it is not as easy as it appears, because considerable support for the other parties and the smaller candidate parties and groups have been visible in places like northern province, in east, as well as in the upcountry. In addition, there is a report that some amount of votes have returned back towards the Pohatua, that is the SLPP side, but it needs to be seen how the voters will exercise their franchise and which way the mandate will be given towards. Tanvi.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ahmed Moin Faruqi, for joining us with all those updates about the general elections expected on November 14th.
Sure.